Hey y'all, I was asked to do a video by Jeff Hagerty, J3 Outdoors, on his drowning rods. As you can see, I got a dozen of his new drowning rods here. These are 1/2 inch, 8-foot long drowning rods, and they're solid fiberglass. And people were asking, how do you do the ends on them? And I'm just a lowly little plumber, so I come up with my own idea, and I told Jeff, I said, well, I got an idea. I'll show you how a plumber does them. So here in this video, I'm going to show you how that's done today. What we got here is just the necessary accoutrements to get it done. Obviously, your Dr. Pepper and stuff, because that's normal. That one's for you, Sarah. And we have Hag's drowning locks. That's what they look like. I already put all mine in my little bucket here. So I'm going to be using a drowning lock. These are Hag's brackets for muskrat trapping and other water trapping. And these are Hag's spring clips. They're fantastic. These are for smaller 3/8 rods, which I have to get from him at a show. So without any further ado, like I said, I'm just a lonely plumber, so I came up with my own idea on how to do these ends. Now, down here at the pointed end, it says you want to be about 10-12 inches up. Okay, so the PEX rings, and this is a plumbing PEX ring. It's a simple little thing. You have to have this tool for it right here, which is a crimper. But this is bigger than the rod, so it will not crimp down. It's not going to lock. So what I did is I came up with some tubing that I thought would work, and it does. And all you do is you take a piece of, this is 1/2 inch ID by 5/8 OD, and you just cut yourself off a little piece, and you slide that up on the end. Now, it's going to be a little bit tight to get up on there, but that's a good point. And I figure about 10-12 inches or somewhere around there. Then you take a PEX ring and you go over the top of it, and you get this pretty much centered on there. That actually provides the grip that we're going to need to crimp it down and hold it in place. I better put the ring on first. Plumbing 101. You get it about centered if you want. Slide this back up on the tube, on the rod itself. You get to about 10 inches or so, and then you take the crimper, and all it does is bite that down. I'm gonna tell you, that thing is not gonna come off. You take his drowner, make sure the drowner's going the right way. Big hole, slides down. So what you want it to do is go in, but you don't want it to come back up. So if this is the end, this is where you want it to stop. It's gonna hit that down there, it's gonna stop, right? It's not gonna go any further. Then on the top, because I am a plumber, I like a T-handle. Now, he says you can drill a hole here, take some of your 3/32 cable, make a loop, put an end on it, pinch it down, just like you're making any, let me grab one out of here for you. I make my own earth anchors too, out of pipe, 3/8 pipe, beveled on a 45 with a welded nut, but it's the same process. You could put this on there, 3/32 through there, pinch a loop, and tie it off, and then you would have something to shove a stake down through, so you anchor both ends. It has to be anchored on both ends. But I'm not going to do that. I'm a plumber, so I soldered up. It's a 3/4 by 1/2 T, 3/4 on the ends. They come out, that's roughly, I cut them at 2 inches on each end. Give me something to shove it down in there with, and then also to pull it back. Now, I was going to use an epoxy resin in a caulking gun, but apparently it's for anchoring like bolts into concrete and stuff, and it works real well, but mine is dried up. So I am going to go with, you can go with all kinds of them, Gorilla Glue, JB Weld, Loctite, they're all the same. We're going to mix up some here on this piece of cardboard, 2-part epoxy resin. Just squeeze out a liberal amount. We're going to mix it up. And that's what we're going to use for the ends. Get yourself a good mix. It should turn a little bit of a different color, almost a white. There we go. And then you coat both the pipe rod, I should say, and the inside of your copper. It's not going to take a whole heck of a lot of this to do it. It's a little overkill, but don't want it to come off. And then you just push it down on the end, because this is, even though it's 1/2-inch copper tubing, here, clean some of this off. And you know, I marked my pipe only so it doesn't go all the way through. I'll show you here in a minute. Grab a paper towel here. Clean up the end. But I marked my pipe so that this doesn't interfere with the set of your anchor. Now I went, because they were telling us use something 24 to 30 inches long on the T-bar just to ground this anchor down into the ground. They said a beaver can get up there and work his way off. If he's stuck on that end, he can jack it up out of the ground. So either 3/8 steel with a T-handle on it, which I might weld up later, or 1/2-inch rebar, and I got a few sticks of it up in the attic. Same thing, cut off a couple of pieces, something for a T-handle, and then you would shove it through here and into the ground, okay? Same with the 3/8, you can go into the ground. But that's what I came up with for mine. We're gonna have to let the resin set for a bit before we can figure out how well it actually is. Like I said, I'd much prefer to shoot the 2-part epoxy in a caulking gun down in there, fill that whole thing up, but make sure you don't get anything into your T section, because you have to get a rod through there. And if you want, you could pin this right here at the T. You could pin the T right through the rod, just drill an 1/8-inch hole. Like I say, you can either take a piece of copper after that, or a piece of wire after that, some 3/32 cable, go through there, gives you a second place to anchor down, or you can just skip it. Like I said, you can do it either way. That's mine. And then you take your, it's an MB750. Haven't had a chance to use this one yet. They come with a double swivel, swivel here, swivel there. And all you're gonna do after that, and he said you can use one of two things. You can either go with a J hook, which you would go through here, and then take your anchor slide, slide your anchor back up, and you can either mount it to this hole, so it'd be this over here, J hook into this hole, pinch it off, and there's your double swivel lock. Or as I was watching Mr. Hagerty do, he didn't use J hooks, even though he did mention them. There are plenty of ways to get around this one. You can go with a quick link lock, okay? Same flavor. You're gonna go through here. And you're gonna take this Mine are bigger than his quick links. How about that? So skip that part. We're not going to do that. I would go with the J hook. My quick links though are for earth anchors to my traps. I always quick link those only because sometimes you don't have the chance to come back and you want to move the set, but you can't pull the earth anchor without a pulling tool. And I don't always carry it with me, so I quick link my traps to them, and then I could just take this off, leave that in the ground, come back later when I do have it at the end of the season and yank all of them. But the iron, some people like the new super fins, and at $25, I thought I saw with the chain $25 each, and I'm cutting and welding these up for pennies, which is it's a 3/8 black iron, hard to come by, but you can buy nipples at like Menards or Lowe's or Home Depot. Cut them on a 45 to fit your tool, so one side drives down, and once they get in there, you pull it and you set it. Quick link onto your trap, call it a day. But this is beaver trapping, so this is why we're doing it this way. We won't be using the quick links on those. I would just still probably go with the J hook through here, pinch it, because this is not like a trap you're going to pull off and on. It actually has to go to a rod unless you're going to use you can use a 3/32 cable or an 1/8 inch cable on these, and you can go through, there's another hole right here. You go through that hole, and use that as a drowner, and then still tie your thing off. But then you have to you're either carrying a bag of rocks, concrete anchors, and you got to throw them out there, set them, pull them back, get a nice tight line so it can run down, but it can't pull back up. This is one of the greatest little inventions right here, is this drowner lock. And then you got his Hags brackets. These are brackets for foothold stabilizers on 3/8 rod. So this says 3/8 right here. It is. What it does, you would take this on a 3/8. I'm going to get some fiberglass ones, and you slide that on there. I probably would do something on the end so it doesn't slide off. And then you could take any foothold trap that you want for, say, muskrats. Find one. I don't have a 3/8. Oh yeah, got it. And then this mounts into, he's got 3 slots here, or 2 slots and then a hole. And then it mounts in there when you set it. Might as well go ahead and set it. This is not a trap that I would use for muskrats, but it is an old trap given to me by a relative who used to do this sort of stuff. Okay, and you can take your Hags mounting thing right to here. That holds your trap, and then you put a bait stick above here, which is just nothing more than a wire bent around, comes over, sticks up. You put a piece of bait on that. The muskrat will come up here to try to get it. You set this at the height you want. So say you want it here and this is there. Then he'll use this as a platform to stand on. Catches it, but immediately upon catching it, it falls off. Not on this trap. Just like I said, this is not a trap I would actually use for this. But it falls off and they drown. I was going to ask Jeff that question on that one in particular. This is not a trap. I think you use like 1.5 Duke coil spring, not long spring. But he's got different ways to mount it. You can mount it sideways. You can use the same slots here, mount it sideways, to a stick or whatever. If you wanted to just nail it up to something, you can do it on both sides. So quite versatile. I like these. Still have to get that done. But we're going to work on the Hags drowners right now because I think that's the key feature of this. It only goes one way. So, obviously your trap's over here with a beaver in it. He can't pull that back up. Now my opinion is I gotta paint these black. I'm gonna do it because I don't like prying eyes, and I've seen a couple of guys out there. Jeff Dunlap, death dealer himself, uses them. He doesn't mind painting them. Sarah painted hers purple. I think I want to paint mine black because prying eyes, people see something, they go over and they investigate it. Next thing you know, you've lost a trap, a drowning rod, the whole 9 yards. But that is my plan for this. I wish that would have set up earlier, or it had one set earlier. But this is not coming off this. He can bang on this all he wants. It's not going to come off the end. Matter of fact, you probably won't get it off without cutting it off. That's what we have for the day. Hope that helps you. Like I said, check out all the other products he's got. He's got quite a few of them that are very decent. And says he is coming out in the fall, preferably before the end of the shows, the conventions. And he's going to be coming up with ends for both of them. I'm imagining his is some high polymer plastic, maybe some steel. Hopefully it's in a T end like that. And I got a dozen to do, but I'm only going to do 6 for myself because I only have 6 MBs 750s. Very expensive trap, but a very good one. Very large for catching beaver. With that, I hope that helped you out, guys. Have a good day.